Hello, I'm the Dark Master, and welcome back to my LEGO reviews. In today's episode, we shall be reviewing set number 71760, Jay's Thunder Dragon EVO, from the core sub-theme of Ninjago. It comes with 140 pieces in 2 bags and 2 minifigures. Before I really start with the review, I want to say I have a new light box that I used in the making of this video. I hope it only improves the quality of my LEGO reviews going forwards. Anyway, as always, let us start with the figures. From left to right, we have Dojo J and a Viper Flyer. Let us start with the hero of the set, Dojo J. Interestingly, in this case, he has the new J hairpiece molded in dark brown and regular blue bandana. This is a really nice mold introduced in the island theme that really gives off a sort of rustic, hectic feeling, like he's in the middle of a fight scene. All thanks to that excellent molding. Going down from the hair, we see he has the same new face print seen since the movie, with the nice little freckles and brown eyebrows from the redesign. He has a two-sided head. On one side he bears a nervous smile, the other has a determined frown. Overall, it's a pretty good face, though nothing special or new. Going down from there, we see he has another extremely well-made torso print, with blue robes possessing some excellent pale yellow lightning printing, and a symbol of unknown nature, all put over a darker blue underrobe. It's a really nice print that sort of highlights this energetic revitalization. Going to the back, we see a larger print with some more lightning printing and a large Ninjago symbol. Overall, pretty good. His arms are asymmetrical. The right one is that pale yellow introduced for Jay in this wave, while the other is a normal blue and is monocolored. His hands are the same regular blue. Going down to his legs, we see they are this bluish gray with a very neatly done yellow belt and blue robes that really gives a nice impression of the sort of thing a ninja would wear. But this isn't the true form of the minifigure, for you see, Jay can be evolved into an upgraded form. In this upgraded form, Jay gains 2 additional pieces. First, Jay gets the Legacy Ninja Hood Wrap and a new recolor of blue with a pale yellow headband. It's always nice to get more recolors of pieces as it increases creative abilities of mockists, and I genuinely find the inclusion of the yellow into Jay's color scheme to be really good as it just further highlights his connection to the element of lightning. It definitely makes him feel more adjacent to it. Also, this is just an excellent piece all around. The second additional piece is a far less interesting one, being that old shuriken half-shoulder armor with decent molding that holds a single katana that I've discussed so many times before I want to keep it brief. There's nothing new here. For weaponry, Jay wields 2. Firstly, he has a nice pair of nunchucks with the Lego Star Wars lightsaber hilt, and a katana newly molded in pale yellow. Both are excellent to get, and it's always nice to see more recolors of the katana. It's just always nice to see that. Overall, this is an amazing reinvention of Jay for the sub-theme of Ninjago Core. Now let's cover the villain of the set. This is a Viper Flyer, one of the nameless, loreless snake warriors made for the Ninjago Core sub-theme. Without question, one of the worst villain groups of this series, lacking any of the character of previous waves, somehow even leaving less of an impression than the guys from the Day of the Departed. Not helped is their coloration, which is essentially the same as the Constricti from an earlier wave. Now, I get the point, right? They wanted to make something that seemed basic, something that was easily identifiable as like the early version of Ninjago. But I have to say, maybe it's just me, but I always felt that when I think of basic Ninjago, I think of the Skulkin, the skeleton army, as opposed to the Serpentine, which were always more visually complex than that. Starting from the head, we see the Pyro Viper head recolored in orange and with gunmetal flames that honestly look somewhat like liquid mercury. While it has all the neat little details and molding of the original piece, and getting a new recolor of pretty much any Lego piece is always good, I would say that I just can't help but feel that this is kind of lazy. I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with reusing a head mold, but honestly, it just strikes too close to the original Pyro Vipers thanks to its orange coloration. Maybe it's just me, but I just think it's lazy, and frankly, having three bad guys use the same head mold as like the basic foot soldier is kinda weak, to be honest. Going down from the head, he bears a harness originally used by NRG Nia. Instead of water pieces this time, it's meant to represent a jetpack with these spiky little wings that can be articulated back and forth. Going down from there, we see some honestly really good torso printing that gives off a dirty, rugged, sort of warrior Conan vibe, thanks to the cyan war paint handles for the jetpack, and the sort of rusted snake pendant. It's honestly pretty decent for a warrior. Going to the back print, we must first remove the jetpack to even see it, and upon doing so, we see far more of these nice printings that just contribute to the overall warrior vibe that they're going for here. It's pretty decent. His arms are orange with gray hands. They are perfectly fine, but nothing special. Going down to his legs, we see some excellent copper armor and belt with some interesting examples of rusting. The cyan tattoos also look rather tribal. For weaponry, what he wields is a rather simple utilitarian silver katana. Overall, admittedly decent, but ultimately forgettable villain minifigure. In terms of pieces, this set, much like the other core sets, has rather fewer pieces that one would expect for a set of this size and price. Despite this, what is here is pretty good. We get a lot of good blue slopes, these quite frankly beautiful wing pieces dual molded in gold and translucent yellow, and all these sort of dull yellow pieces that really stick out and give this dragon a unique flair. There's this one printed plate, but I'll get more into detail in that in a bit. The leftover pieces are nothing really to talk about though. However, special attention goes to one particularly bad piece. This right here, referred to as a SCCBS piece, or a System Character and Creature Building System. Perhaps the most redundant instance of redundancy I've ever seen in LEGO. Now on the surface, this may look fine with its studs and a pinhole, providing a decent level of customization. However, the problem comes with its illusion of articulation right here. Simply put, despite appearances, there is no articulation at all, meaning whatever uses this bend may have had means the limb cannot bend at all. LEGO claims they created this as a replacement for CCBS after tons of research and says that large mechs slash kids simply cannot do these, that it's a concept beyond them. Never mind the fact that numerous small and large mechs throughout Lego's history have had knees and sold extremely well to kids who allegedly couldn't understand them, but clearly indicating that they understood them well enough. After all their research, in the end, ironically, Lego has devolved into the 2000s slicer level of piece creation. But what about what these pieces build? Well, this Thunder Dragon, much like Jay, can be upgraded from a similar base form, which I will review first. Starting from the head, we see the top half is a new piece introduced in Ninjago Core. It has a really distinctive, slick look. The horns are sort of like an arrowhead, perfect for flying through the air. Plus, on the top, there are some studs for customization in mocking, and that's rather neat to see. In this particular instance, the piece is molded in a light blue with translucent yellow at the back that gives off a sort of lightning vibe. The top with the studs has a golden circular plate put upon it. The dragon's eyes have a angered expression with scales that resemble eyelashes in detail. The lower jaw is the same from Nia's water dragon with its crimson chin. This time it's molded in the pale yellow that I talked about earlier. It honestly looks pretty neat, though I wish that both this and the upper jaw had the teeth painted so that they were white. That would have been a nice little detail. The pair of jaws are attached thanks to a clip piece that provides a rather large amount of articulation. The head attaches to the body via a ratchet joint up and down. Though the build allows a little side-to-side articulation, it is greatly limited and really not much to speak about. Going down, we see the first part of the dragon's body has some decent shaping and a good coloring layer thanks to the pieces used. It is here that we see the front pair of legs. I've talked about this piece in detail, so I'll try and keep it brief. It has some golden armor and dark blue scales on it, and a single point of articulation at the shoulder, which is just standard at best. The dragon's feet are these cute little things with teeth pieces used for toes. There is articulation at the ankle, and once again, it's perfectly fine. Going down, we see the second segment of the dragon's body. It's shorter and less interesting than the front, though it still has some charm. The back legs are similar to the front, but positioned in the opposite direction. They also have thicker armor and a navy blue Nexo Knight shield piece on the lower part of the leg. The back feet are identical to the front and thus not worth talking about. Continuing to the dragon's tail, we see a rather short, meager one, consisting of two identical, honestly rather skimpy segments, with the end having a rather interesting tail tip, utilizing a golden gear that has been previously seen on the second generation of Bionicle, with a pair of translucent yellow lightning pieces. It does have a neat sort of ankylosaur vibe. Overall, the dragon here looks a bit neutered, sort of skimpy. It's kind of hard to describe it, but it looks kind of off. However, there is a reason for this, and it involves Ninjago's core basic concept. Now, the sets of Ninjago Core are meant to be extra modular for the kids, allowing them to do easy customization and switching out parts for one another. And this dragon can be upgraded with several small side builds. Let's talk about those now, going from front to back. Firstly, we get a little cute saddle that Jay can sit on. It's simple and frankly comfortable looking, and it has the most noticeable thing about it being that it possesses one of the collectibles of the wave that can be articulated forward and backwards. This being one of the collectible banners from the wave, specifically the speed banner, which is exclusive to this set. It is a simple red 2x3 rectangular plate bearing an image of a dragon soaring into the air. It's fine, though a massive downgrade compared to the Storm or Wave amulet, but it has its own simplistic charm. Going down to the front limbs, we see those amazing wing pieces have been attached to them, and they can be rotated forwards and back, and in general help to fill out the front of the dragon, make it honestly look more like a dragon and less like an oversized lizard. Next, we see there is a middle body segment that, despite its simple construction, actually greatly improves the body, making it feel far less sort of squished up. The hollow studs on the top are a bit odd, though. The fourth and last addition is a similar segment added to the tail. It honestly doesn't really add much, but it does make the tail feel less small and increases its flexibility. So, what are my final thoughts on this set? Well, it's complicated. On one hand, I absolutely love Jay's minifigure, and the fully upgraded dragon looks pretty good for its size. And the set honestly comes with a lot of really good pieces and interesting recolors. However, the dragon in its base form is pretty weak. Honestly, don't even know why they use it as a selling point, as honestly, the fully upgraded dragon is just so much better, and the non upgraded one just seems so weak that nobody would ever want to keep it that way. Also, the villain, while superficially badass, is just honestly utterly forgettable. Overall, can I recommend getting this set? Well, it's flawed, but it's a decent price for a relatively well sized set, and I'm sure your younger kids will enjoy it. Plus, it's not licensed, so intrinsically it has a little more originality and honestly value than those lazy Star Wars sets. I recommend buying it if you want a little cheap set to get for your younger relatives or for yourself. I'm the Dark Master, and join me next time on my Lego reviews.